Wait, here we are. We're just streaming. Wait, hang on. I got an intro for you. I don't think I'm quite awake.
You said crite.
Quite awake. Welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. One of our viewers, well, two of them, they're married. They're adorable. Sean and Tracy.
They're from the UK.
They're from the UK. Came to us and said, oh, I would love it if you would do a Q&A session with Resistance Chicks where we could ask questions and you all could answer them. And it would be a one-off sort of thing. And so we said, righto, we will...
Jolly good.
Jolly good. Let's get on it. Let's get cracking. So we decided to go ahead and do a Resistance Chicks Q&A because we have a lot of new viewers.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome to the new viewers that we got from InfoWars, from the Charlottesville shooting. I know that's not exactly new, but relatively from the beginning of the year, it is new. And you may not know a lot about us. The Texas shooting gained us a lot of viewers. So with that, and without further ado, I think we should just go ahead and get started with some of Sean's questions because this was his idea. And we'll let him kick it off. We have a lot of questions. We're going to try to get to them quickly. And if I don't get to the chat, it's because I'm looking at questions. So wait till we answer the questions. I'll try to get to the chat and stuff like that. But we do want to take your comments today as well. One of my favorite questions that he asked was, do you think that Elvis really died in 1977? Leah?
Oh, no, you have a perfect answer.
All right. The dude was ill. I mean, come on. Let's go. I mean, I wish you could pull up some photos of Elvis. Like when he was young, super in shape and fit and happy and wonderful. And then at the end, when he was wearing his nice, glammed up, bedazzled outfits and singing.
He doesn't look real good.
He didn't look quite, I mean, not that he had gained weight. That wasn't it. But see, actually, scroll down a little bit. His body isn't that big. And he was bearing all this weight. And as a nutritionist, I'm not actually an official nutritionist, but I do know a lot about nutrition. When you gain that much weight in your face and it's not on your body, it is a sign of ill health.
And unfortunately,
he was always sweaty.
He's running around the stage, sweating. He's doing drugs. He's drinking heavily. Not the epitome of health, actually.
I got to tell you, like, in all honesty, not only do I believe that he died in 1977 or died at such an early age, I mean, if you want to go conspiracy theory, the dude was so sick he may have died earlier and that was just an imposter. I mean, you've seen some really great Elvis impersonators, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, come on. The dude did not live, I mean, that's my opinion. That's why we're here. So there you go. I think that wraps up what Resistance Chicks think.
Maybe if you're talking about young Elvis, I would go with the,
I really think that he was ill, man.
Okay.
He was sick. All right, so
moving on. Next
what do you think of Sunday trading? I had to ask him what he meant by that. You just mean stores being open on Sundays. I think that answer, I would think that that's kind of, you guys would know that answer, but it's a good question.
I think it's a good question. I mean, we live in a different world than today. When I was a kid, pretty much everything was closed on Sundays. We've kind of lost our way. We're kind of wandering in the dark.
Right.
Giving honor to God, letting people rest. I would take it a step further beyond that. We were in a store that says, we're open on Thanksgiving. Now, for us, Thanksgiving is like this holiday where you're like, everyone takes one day to get with their family. And the fact that like somebody has to work at the dollar store and not be with their family. I understand like emergencies, like, a few gas stations or emergency room.
Yeah.
But the idea that people can't go one day without going shopping for something.
And even just one day a week. When I was a kid, when I was a young kid, things were closed on Sunday. You just knew I couldn't do that.
Right.
The movie theater was open.
Yeah, that's
when
true.
we were kids. Because that was kind of a day of rest thing. You would go to the movies or in the UK, I think you call it the theater. All right, so how many instruments do you both play? 2.
Including my nose.
Stop it. What is wrong with you? Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
All right. Leah and I both play guitar. Leah started playing the guitar when she was 16. You taught yourself how to play. And that's all you did for like a solid year. Constantly. She was always playing the guitar. And I loved that Leah played the guitar. And then when I was 16, because I'm younger, I decided that I wanted to take up playing the guitar, and it was a really big step of faith for me because it was one of those things where your older sister did it, so you would want to do something different. So it was kind of a humbling thing, but it turned out to be a great gift.
She doesn't like to take lessons from me.
It's very difficult so I taught myself, but only begrudgingly coming out and like, I can't get this, or my favorite, I can't feel my fingers and they're building these calluses and it's so painful and I'm picking them off and it's awful, and she's like, suck it up.
We both pretend to play the piano.
Hang on, I think we play it. We don't play it like a pianist, like super awesome.
I think we pretend.
We use it for what we like to use it for. We write our own music. We can play other songs too, but we do. We have a baby grand piano. I wish I could turn the camera around so you could see it. You know what? Someday, soon, we will. That's good, Leah. All right. One day we will do some songs at the piano. We'll just do a Resistance Chicks, all your songs that you play at the piano.
Yay.
Not our own songs. We play other songs, but like the songs you've written on the piano, we'll play that. So, all right. Have you heard about the Stephen Avery case? What do you think has happened? No? Have we?
No. Sorry.
I'm not familiar with that one. It sounds familiar. I'd probably have to see a picture and read an article and be like, oh yeah. What do you think really happened to Hitler? Did he escape? I think he died.
I don't know. My gut says he did commit suicide, but I have no idea.
Hang on, though.
Honestly.
I think he died. Did he commit suicide?
I don't know.
Was he suicided?
I don't know. Honestly, that's one I don't have a definitive gut feeling on.
I don't have a gut feeling on it either. Obviously, he's dead. I don't think he escaped. That is my gut feeling. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't think he's just somewhere living in the world with his little stash somewhere, just laughing it up. I really think he is dead. I think
he'd
killed
be dead
him
by now.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
He was thank you. Good point. I don't think he was a patsy, and they always one off the patsies. I mean, just off, not one off. They always off the patsies. I'm going to smack you in the face. I'm sorry. All right. Do you believe in life after death and ghosts?
I definitely believe in spirits. I believe, when people talk about ghosts and things like that, I believe there's demonic spirits. People talk about UFOs. I think that's demonic. Obviously, that camera is shaking. Do you know, with this table? Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Is it touching the table?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. There's scriptures for this. So we have Samuel in the Bible. Was it Samuel? Came back. It was Saul that sought after.
Yeah.
He went to a diviner, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And he says, I want you to bring up Samuel. I need to talk to him.
That's
and
true.
So the lady does bring him up. And Samuel's like, dude, why you wake me from my sleep, man? So there is a precedence for conjuring up the dead. My entire life, I didn't believe in it because I didn't think that it was scriptural until I found that verse. So as far as how does the rest of that, I don't think that people are just floating around in their house, right? Jesus said, today you will be with me in paradise. So I think after Jesus came, then we have the, kind of splitting of where everybody goes, heaven and hell. But before that, they were in Abraham's bosom. And there's also more scriptures for that
Lazarus
as well.
Touched the man's tongue or something with the water.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the other guy that was like, can I go back and tell my people he was in hell? I need to go tell them, not to come here. And they're like, no, dude, it's too late for you. They have the prophets, is what the scripture says. They have the prophets. Let them listen to them. They have to make their own choice. No, you can't go back.
These are great questions because I know that they're going to blow up the chat with people's own answers.
Oh, yeah, I know. And I'm not even looking at the chat. I'm sorry. All right. So yes, but I don't believe in ghosts as far as if your loved one dies, they're still floating around in the dead people thing. That is not scriptural at all. But the afterlife, yes, you either go to heaven or you go to hell. And you need to know where you're going. And if you don't, you can ask Leah and Michelle about that. All right. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever should believe in him would not perish, but would have everlasting life.
Train
Coming down the line. All right, we can't sing that right now. All right, we got a lot of questions to get through. So his beautiful wife, Tracy, says, how doth thou make your own toothpaste as your teeth are beautiful? We have a video on that, Tracy, on how to make. You can just go to our videos and search in, just put in the word toothpaste, and you will find it there.
I'll tell you what. Main ingredients, simple. Coconut oil, baking soda, a touch of salt, some peppermint.
You want to tell them what
essential
you put in
oils.
there for us?
Now, you can use certain things to add trace minerals to make your teeth stronger again. You can, when I have the time, I'll take calcium and magnesium or just calcium vitamins and crush them and put those in there. You can buy trace minerals on Amazon. Or there are trace minerals in cocoa powder and carob powder. Now,
And cacao. Same thing. But it's not the same thing. It's different.
So I will warn you that I do like the cocoa powder toothpaste the best, but
We
if
brush
you
our teeth
have
with
a
chocolate
white
every day, man. It's weird.
sink,
You got to clean it every single time you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
It's really, really annoying. But we
Yeah.
do it anyway. It's worth
yeah,
it.
I might go with the white toothpaste next time. So
Yeah, but we've been doing chocolate for what, like a year?
Guys,
You're going to hear something here while I pull this up. All right, so have you always had your faith, or are you born again? If born into your faith, when did you gain your own testimony of the Lord? Leah, you want to go first?
yeah, kind of quickly. My mom was a Christian. She grew up in a Catholic home. She became born again when she was a teenager. And she just fell in love with Jesus, and she shared the love of Jesus with us. And I guess she would go around the house singing and saying, "Praise the Lord." And when I was 2 years old, I think we were in a restaurant with our whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And I must
This
say,
is so
Mom
great.
tells me I yelled out, "Praise the Lord!" And my grandfather looked at me and said, "Shut up! You don't say that kind of stuff inside of a restaurant," or something like that. So I have from all of my waking memories are that Jesus is Lord. I've always leaned on Him. I can tell you that by
I don't
going
know how people live without him.
in and out of public school, though, like I was very ashamed to witness in public school in 7th and 8th and 9th grade. And then something happened the summer of my 9th grade year. I started to get really close to the Lord. I started to play the guitar. I actually, the Bible says, enter His courts with thanksgiving, enter His gates with praise, or something like that. And when I was learning to play the guitar, I used a Christian songbook. So I wanted to play praise and worship.
It is
And
the best book ever. If we can find the
as
link, I'll drop it in the description.
I would spend an hour. I wanted to spend an hour a day learning to play the guitar, so I'm playing these Christian songs and I'm singing praise and worship, and then these songs would come to me. The Bible talks about singing new songs to the Lord,
Right.
and I just became addicted to getting into the presence of God. Like I felt Him, and so I would say the summer of my 9th grade year was when I really fell in love with God. You could say I got the power to go along with
Yeah,
the
that's a good
knowledge
way
of
of putting
Jesus.
it.
In the New Testament, it talks about, have you received the Holy Spirit since you believed? And Jesus talks about in Acts 2, you will receive power when you receive the Holy Spirit. And a lot of Christians, they don't have that power, that oomph of the Holy Spirit. But when I got into the presence of God every day by praising Him,
Yeah.
because that's how we get in. A lot of people just want to go to God and ask for things.
Right.
But if you want your prayers to be answered, the best place to start is by praising Him and worshiping Him, because he that comes to the Lord must believe that He is, and He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. So we first must believe that He is, and if we believe that He is, then we will be praising Him and worshiping Him
Right.
all the time. And so it's more of a testament for us. So I really fell in love with the presence of the Holy Spirit, with the power of the Holy Spirit. This boldness came on me that I had not had in respect to preaching the gospel, in
Right.
respect to just knowing Jesus, because I knew Him. I knew Him. I mean, I knew Him. I felt Him. And you know what? This is why my mom always taught us to treat children
As if they're a
As
real
if they're-
person, because they are. Don't treat them like a child.
So what was I, 14 going on 15 or 15 or something like that? And I knew Jesus, and I was leading adults to Christ. I was leading my friends to Christ. I was, it just came on you, because when you experience something, then you can share it.
And not only can you, but you want to.
Right.
And that's the big deal.
Yep.
So I'll do mine a little bit shorter than that. No, it's good. That's in all honesty, that is the crux of Resistance Chicks. This question right here. It is who we are. Everything else filters down from what Leah just told you and what I'm about to tell you. When I was younger, obviously, like Leah said, we were raised, our mom always taught us about Jesus, but that is not enough. I knew that Jesus existed. I knew that He was in my heart. I knew if I were to die, that's where I was going to go. And I had a relationship with Him. I talked to Him. I prayed with Him. But I was kind of a blonde, ditzy child. Okay. I played Barbies a lot. I tried to witness to my friends, but I lacked. I can remember it. It's kind of like getting new software, right? I was really not functioning with all of the software that I needed. And when I was, I would say 15, my mom made a decision that she was going to go move out to Oklahoma with Leah so that we could afford for her to be there, because my mom was paying Leah's rent and her college and everything. My mom was a single mom, for her to pay rent for us in Ohio. And she also felt that we were called by God to live there. And so I didn't want to go. I had a life. I was teaching gymnastics. I had a great gymnastics career. I had a ton of friends. I was very, very popular. And I had a reason to want to stay. I had many reasons. I thought about staying with my dad. He was very abusive. I thought about staying with a friend. And the Lord spoke to me in Jeremiah chapter 1. He says, because I was praying for months, God, I don't want to do this. Why should I have to make this decision? And he said, say not that I am only a child. You will go to the nations that I tell you to go to and preach what I tell you to preach. And in that moment, I get goosebumps just retelling this story. I became an adult as far as my relationship with Jesus Christ. And from that moment on, I was downloaded with new software. I would say that the Holy Spirit really came into my life at that moment. And I had this really strong passion to want to do God's will. No longer what I want, but what He wants. And I think we're still trying to carry that out today.
Then you got a 2.0 upgrade too a year or two later.
Yes, I did. When I was about 18.
But no, before that, when you were doing your homeschool stuff.
Oh, yeah. I was kind of a ditzy... I'm not really, I hate to say ditzy because I wasn't, but I really was lacking something. I don't know what it was. But
you were just like every other child out there.
But looking back on it now that I've been awakened,
yes,
I can feel the loss. So,
but you can look at everyone else and say, whoa, y'all are missing something.
I did 3 years of high school in 1 year. I was homeschooled, and my mom let it go. She wasn't going to force it. And so I literally sat down my senior year and I did the last 3 years of high school in that 1 year. And I fell in love with learning. And that's when I think you're talking about.
Well, that's when you were red-pilled on...
And that's when we were red-pilled. That kind of answers another question that I know somebody asked. When were you red-pilled? I was reading an economics book.
When we talk about red-pilled, I mean, you can know Jesus, but there's a lot of people who know Jesus ain't red-pilled. I wasn't red-pilled. I didn't know anything about the Federal Reserve. I didn't know anything about government corruption, deep state, things like that. Things that really matter.
Right. Exactly. So I'm reading this economics book, and it's teaching me about the Federal Reserve. It's teaching me about FDR. It's teaching me about gold, how it is the constitutional money it's the only rightful money before God that we should even be using, gold and silver.
So this is real education. So Michelle actually red-pilled Mom and I with this information. So
I'm not. It was the Lord.
It was the book.
It was the book.
And the commies. The commies
and
everywhere.
I went around the house and I'm like, it's the dirty commies. It's the dirty commies.
And that was in her homeschool book, her Christian homeschool book, which is why we encourage you to get the right material and educate your kids and pull them out of public schools, because we had to re-educate ourselves. I mean, and get the right information, the right curriculum, because even my curriculum didn't.
I'm going to answer a question that nobody's asking, but if you are homeschooling or you're interested in homeschooling, my absolute favorite curriculum was Christian Liberty Academy Satellite Schools. It's abbreviated as CLASS. They use a Becca curriculum. They have some of their own curriculum. It was amazing. So I highly, highly encourage that curriculum. And it's a school. It's a satellite school. So I didn't have to go through the rigors of the different state rules, because I literally was enrolled in a school, just a satellite one.
Each state has different rules with homeschooling. So you needed that to help you.
Exactly. All right. So we're going to go to the questions that are on the video, where we put out a video. Hey, you want to submit questions? Let's see. Is your current property your, quote, forever home?
No, maybe. I don't know.
I would say that my mom always talks about the fact that this property was in our family from our Uncle Charlie, and we really hold fast to that. So someone in our family will always be living on this property. This is property that God has given us, given our family.
There's a scripture that talks about how God divides the nations and God gives land. So you got to find out. Just like you need to find out who your spouse is, you need to find out where your land is and where God has called you to be.
Right.
Otherwise, you're trespassing on somebody else's, and Matt can tell you a lot about that, where his family just stole property right and left because they were bankers. But
true story.
Yeah. So we don't have enough land here to do what God's called us to do. Now, listen, He could cause people to leave and bulldoze houses and things like that, and that's cool. So we don't know. I mean, this is one of those things where it's walk by faith and not by sight. So we know it's cool to know that you feel like when I wake up, like, I know I'm supposed to be here. Like, this is home. This is my home. I could not be anywhere else. My being is in the walls.
True.
Okay?
But do you feel like you're going to live in this house for the rest of your life?
Probably not in this house. But I don't know.
Right.
As the Lord leads.
Well, there's two of us. And we do believe the Lord for marriage and children, and this house would be a little bit tight for that.
But the cool thing is that we're building on to things is not a bad thing.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so another question. If you could go back, I love this question. If you could go back in a time machine, what back time? If I could find a way. All right, we would find all the things that you're supposed to do and live that way.
That's good.
All right, no, seriously. What year would you like to go back to and live in?
If not in my lifetime.
Hang on, though.
Doesn't have to be your lifetime.
I'm going to say, let's say you were, I want to answer this question as if we had to. Because I would choose to live right now because this is an amazing time that we're living in. But if we had to go back, I'm going back to probably just after the Revolutionary War. Like, after it's over and they're building America, that's where I would go.
I'm going back to 1776. I want to be a part of that. That'd be awesome.
You're brave. But as far as just living, sometimes a lot of our friends tell us we should have been like Wagon Train. You know, that's hard life, man.
Wagon Train's hard.
That's hard. I don't know that I would want to do that.
Wagon Train's hard. I don't think people understand how nice and easy Americans had it. They're very industrious. Now, the Pilgrims, because there weren't any Lowe's or Home Depots here where they could just go and buy, a bunch of lumber and everything. Mm-hmm. So a bunch of them died. But their next... the next generation and the next generation, the more people that came,
right? Man,
it just popped up, and we learned there's turkeys here, we learned there's food here, we learned there's things here.
And then you get general stores.
Their food actually, their store was right outside their window. I read once that there was in early colonial America, breakfasts and tables were set with meat.
Right.
It was all meat because they had all this wild game.
Yes.
And it was just
protein.
Everywhere. So there was a lot of abundance and ingenuity. Mm-hmm. And so they were actually warm and clothed and fed.
It was a lot easier. The wagon train part was hard, but once they actually got settled, living that life isn't as difficult. It's just homesteading. Right. It's not as difficult if you don't have to go and work a 9 to 5 job.
Going without electricity isn't that big of a problem if you have a heat source and a way to cook. And It's just like you wake up with the sun, you go to bed with the sun.
I used to think going without a refrigerator would be the hardest thing to do, but our Amish friends, they have an ice house. They make ice all winter long, and it lasts them, and they're in Ohio, and it lasts them all through summer. We get our milk delivery. It's always got hunks of ice in it and stuff. So there are things that you can do. Right. So Redneck had asked a question in the chat that they're asking him to re-ask, which I did save so that I could bring it back because I think it's very interesting. Which sister usually wins the arguments?
What arguments?
That we don't argue.
What arguments?
That never happens.
We are
differences always at
of opinion
peace in our house.
And we have ways that we each look to things, and everything is always calm.
Yes.
And peaceful. Yes. And we'll leave it at that.
Because we love each other so much that we prefer one another.
Always.
I prefer you. What do you want for dinner? I don't care. What would you like, Leah?
Stop it. You can never get anything done like that.
Okay, so for real, we've gone through ups and downs with arguing. When we were kids, it was awful. I chased Leah around the house with a butter knife once. Scream. My mom was the most calm, peaceful mother. It made no sense. It had to be the craziness of brokenness that we had in our broken home.
Our dad was an abusive alcoholic.
So, we would, and my mom had to work. She knew she was called to stay at home, but she had to go to work. And so Leah was left to raise moi. Raise
is a little bit of too much of a
watch, keep an eye on, make sure she doesn't kill herself or you. So there were times where we would argue, you did all of the laundry, you did all of the cooking at 11, 12?
I don't remember.
Something like that. It was, but we would argue, if you had to teach me my times tables, that was a hard time. She
getting upset about that.
That was really difficult life.
She didn't ever want to be taught by me things.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe because...
And I had a slight temper growing up. There may have been a few holes in the wall that I don't know where they came from. I really don't. But my mom would come home and she would say to us, I can hear you from the car outside? Do you want them to call Child Protective Services and have them take you away from me? Well, actually, she wouldn't say it that way because my mom didn't ever talk that way, but that's the way that I received it. She would more or less come home. They're going to come. They're going to come and take you away because they think I'm abusing you. I'm not even here. We used to argue a lot more. But as we have matured, we try to, but we have moments of insanity just like everybody else. We're working on it. I think we've gotten a lot better.
Usually relents to me, usually.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. For the longest time, my mom was the mediator. Finally, she gave up. She would just say to both of us, here it comes. You're not going to weigh in on this? She would just say, you know what? Go seek God. She would always turn it on us when we'd come and like, I knew that I was in the right and I knew that my mom would know that I was in the right. But instead of siding with me like she should have, she would say, what does the Lord have to say, Michelle? Yeah, Ma. Yeah, I'm angry and my... Well, I don't know what she's saying. My blood is boiling and I've got the chemical of hate inside my blood and you want to tell me to go to God? Fine, I'll leave. All right, so next question. That's a good question, by the way. What is it like to be pro-Trump in your area of the country? Male reactions, women's reactions. Have you lost friends over your political views? Thank you, Scott. I should be leaving names here with these questions. I'm sorry.
Pretty easy around here.
It's very
Most
easy.
everybody's pro-Trump. It's actually harder to be pro-Hillary around here. Nobody really talks about politics like too much in day. But the signs, all the signs
We're pro-Trump.
We're pro-Trump. The silent majority is for Trump. All of Ohio, where we drove around,
Right.
the only signs out were for Trump, and then like you might see a Hillary sign down the street. There's one woman who is like some sort of Democrat electoral thing, and she had people one day.
Yeah.
She had a Hillary sign for like a day.
I don't
or
ever
two.
question when I'm in a conversation. I do. I question a little bit. I kind of feel people out, but more often than not, I know that they're going to be.
Most people say, I'm pro-life, so I thought about the babies. I needed a good Supreme Court justice. People like to try to just like excuse that. A lot of people don't really like to talk about Trump because they're kind of embarrassed because they did vote for Trump.
Right.
So, yeah, it's pretty easy here in all of Ohio. Pretty easy.
Scott, we just asked your question. And so there you go. All right. Which one looks like Mama? Leah sounds just like her.
I don't think either of us really look like her.
do.
I look
do.
spit dead on my dad.
No.
We both do.
Here's the thing.
When I look in the mirror, I see his face.
I have seen pictures and this is the telltale sign. My Uncle Jack, who lives with us, one time we sent a Christmas picture when we were living in Oklahoma, and his reaction was, oh my gosh, Leah looks just like Jean. My mom, growing up, they always called her Jean.
The hair. We
her
have
name
the
is
same
Jeannie.
hair, but we don't have anything else. I do not look like our mom. Nothing about us
I
looks
think
like our
you
mom.
look like Mom.
But nothing about us. Like, she don't have the same nose. We don't have the same eyes. We
Mom,
don't have the same
who do you?
thing.
Mom would say
there's nothing about us.
that's not true. And I think that
We're
the
the same
older
hair
that we
color.
get, the
That's
more
it.
we start to look like her.
Well, let's try. We can try.
Wait a minute. Here, we'll just let them decide.
Oh, here comes one.
Here comes the picture.
See, I think
Here
you
goes
get.
mine.
I think you get lost in the hair.
Yeah, but no. Look at the face. Go ahead. Look at the faces. Who do you think looks more in the face? Look at the nose. We don't have our mom's nose for sure.
We don't have nose. Maybe a mouth.
I think your chin is close to Mom's.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But see,
and she has these beautiful green eyes.
See, we have
She
brown eyes.
prayed for 2 girls with blonde hair and brown eyes. Guess what? She got what she wanted. Why didn't she pray for 2 girls with green eyes? You know, that could have happened, but didn't. All right, thanks, Ma. It's all right. I'll take the brown eyes. Okay, so that answers that question. You can answer that question yourself. Which one looks more like her? Okie dokie. Would you ever hire a 60-year-old woman? And that's from Sicilian Gal. And so I think that that's I don't know exactly where you're going with that, but I think it means like in today's day and age, it's really difficult for people in their 60s and 70s even to get the respect. They're all hiring young people. Good, because I got to get a towel to clean this up.
We already have. I'm just kidding. So we pet sit for a living, but we never leave. We have a neighbor across the street who's is like 62 or something, and so we pet sit for her, and she and her husband came and took care of our animals when we left for Montana, and she takes care of our chickens. The point I'm trying to make
okay, go ahead, finish your point.
Is that I trust people who've been around, experience. There are just things that you can't get through just books or learning or school. Life experience tells you when to call 911. Life experience tells you, you know, how fires start or how to prevent them, or if there's something eerie going on. You know, I mean, life experience teaches you more than a book or education. So the older you are,
right,
the more experienced you are.
I think that in today's day and age, it's completely flip-flopped. The young people get the big paying jobs, and the old people are down at Walmart as greeters. It makes me, I'm infuriated by this, because they can't, if a person has a job and they usually kick them out right before retirement, and they had a good paying job, they literally can't get a job outside of Walmart after that, even if they were making like 6 figures. It's ridiculous. It's very, very difficult as an older person, male or female, to be taken seriously regardless of what your resume says. It's unfortunate, but I would over a young person any day. I can't stand young people, except for the exception of Maya and Say Perfect on our channel. Love them. Go subscribe to his channel. All right. So I love you girls. Wish we were neighbors. My cues. Which is your living situation? What is your living situation? Do you live with your family? Are you married or in relationships? Any children yet? Or any planned? With Polish love from Germany, from Alice. So that combines a couple of questions that other people had asked. Somebody had wanted to know, who is Kansas? So, since we've answered this question a couple of times, but I'm going to go ahead and re-answer it now. And I'm the one that gets to answer it. I'm going to do this really, really fast because it's a long story.
A picture?
Kansas, you guys have seen Kansas on our show. So he is the troll that lives in our basement.
Sorry, I had to distract.
And for years, people would ask Leah and I, when are you getting married? What are you going to do? And we wear promise rings. These are, I don't know if this was in the question. I think it was. Somebody had asked about the fact that we wear wedding rings. They're not wedding rings. They are promise rings, vowing to save ourselves and our purity for our future spouse.
It's a good thing Mama got it as gold, because if it was anything else, it wouldn't have lasted.
You got yours when you were 18. I got mine when I was 18. 16. Wow, it's lasted a long time. It's quality. That is quality right there, man. Little did we know that we would be in our 30s and still wearing them, but we are holding fast. But we would tell people, listen, if we get to a certain age, which we will pass that age, we have a plan B. There's a website called farmersonly.com.
You don't have to be lonely.
Try farmersonly.com. And we'll just put ourselves on there, find a nice rancher or farmer or whatever, get married, have plenty of kids, bada bing, bada boom, do it. Well, out of a kind of a joke, I created a profile, first person, for Leah, put up a picture, acted as if I was her, and just threw it out there, walked on the porch, got this great grin on my face, and she's like, what did you do? And I'm like, well, why don't you come see what I did? And for 2 weeks, we had the best time looking at profiles and then just crying, because the plan B was going to be an epic fail, because everybody on this site was just, it was absolutely ridiculous. Some guy had messaged you and said, immediately, you are the one for me. I know this because I walked outside of a store and I saw a double rainbow after looking at your profile. And I knew that. And then he said, will you marry me? Right away. This is an excellent,
I have to hand it to these fellas, because they're looking for wives. And that's what I do appreciate about it.
Yes. Yes. So, but Leah, I say we, because I was in on this with her the whole time. She got a message from a guy named Matthew that lived in Kansas, hence why we call him Kansas. Because when we were messaging him back and forth, it was just Kansas. And hey, that guy from Kansas, just call him Kansas. A couple of messages. I like your dog. You might come in handy, because I put our home improvement stuff on there. And then we didn't hear from him. And Leah's like, man, I really thought that I kind of clicked with that one guy from Kansas. And she was giving him a hard time. And I said, you're going to feel really bad if like his mom died or something. And it turns out that his granddad was in the hospital and sick, and then he did die. And then he messaged her afterwards, sorry, my granddad was sick, yada, yada, yada. And then it had to be the Lord. This wasn't just a dating site thing. It was complete divine appointment, because Matt was going through a lot of stuff. And so I can't get into all the details there. You guys can watch his testimony and stuff like that. But he found Jesus. He didn't just find us. He found Jesus, and God brought his life into our life, and he has been healing ever since. But he has become the greatest blessing I think that our family has ever received. So I don't have any special interests. Yes, we want to get married. Our living arrangement is Kansas is the troll in the basement. Uncle Jack lives in the bedroom right behind us. Our mom is on the main floor. Leah and I have a Cape Cod style room upstairs that is actually separated and divided.
And we have 2 dogs.
We have 2 dogs. We have who knows how many pigs we have. And we have who knows how many chickens. And that's our living arrangement right now. We want to have kids. We're called to have kids. But right now we're in the middle of this fight for justice, and God will bring the family along after that. We
always say, as the Lord leads.
Yes.
And so God is really great for us in that whenever we've had a life change. He parks the bus in front and says, "Get on," and
That's
we
right.
say, "Okay, let's ride."
Right.
So it's not that we've missed the bus and we just keep wondering when that bus is going to come.
I just turned 34, and this is what I tell people about the fact that I don't have kids, and I know that I will have kids one day, even though I have no one in my life. Listen, Sarah, in the Bible, she well past her flower, the woman had kids. So I say, listen, if God's got to bring a miracle through me, well past my flower, and I'm like 80, dude, girls having children.
Yeah.
So
we tell people that you always have to follow the leading of the Holy Spirit. I don't, a lot of our young female friends are like, I don't want to offend you, but I don't want to be like you.
they do tell us that, yeah. I don't want to wait until I'm in my 30s to
just
get
say,
married. Like, this
listen,
Christian thing you're doing ain't working out.
You have to follow the Holy Spirit. Just follow the Lord, and He will show you.
I'm not
the best
unhappy.
place to be is in the will of God.
Yes. All right. So, do you two realize how lucky you are to have each other? Where do you think you would be if not having one another? From Eyes Open.
It's really weird. We would probably be regular church goers.
Boring. No offense.
I went to school to be a minister, try to just plugging away. But once you're red-pilled, it's almost impossible to be a regular church goer and just plug away.
Right.
I know a lot of you do attend church. A lot of you have been disillusioned by the reason modern church going is so difficult is because it is a arm of the deep state.
Yes.
They have literally
Hijacked the
legislated the church, especially with the whole 501 C3, where you can only use so much of your preaching as political speech.
For those of you in the UK that don't understand what that means, it's a tax-exempt status that churches have. If you claim that tax-exempt status, which means anything that you have that comes in is tax write-offable, whatever, I just said that. I know that's not right. But you can write it off on your taxes. You don't have to pay taxes on it. And
sales tax
you don't have to pay a sales tax if you buy things. Now finish.
Well, then only about 5 or 6% of your preaching can be on any sort of political matter or about political
So they control
people.
what you say. You are censored.
Okay.
And
yeah.
every church in America claims that. So where would we be without each other? Yeah, that pretty much answers it. Yes, we do realize how very blessed we are.
Absolutely.
Every day I wake up, I don't know how people that live by themselves do it. Because girls got to vent, man. Like, I can't just vent like calling up people. Like, you need to be in my life to know what's going on, man.
I lived with a roommate for a few months, three months, and she was always gone. And it was just really lonely. Who wants to make meals just for themselves?
Yeah.
I love having people. We moved in to take care of our living arrangements here was we moved into this house to take care of our grandmother. This is her house.
This has been in our family since 1965.
And our uncle who had a stroke.
Right.
And we took care of them, and we didn't actually have jobs. We did
a lot of odd jobs on the side.
Yeah, we had craft shows and we did artsy things and things like that. And we found that we have a pet sitting business now because our grandma passed away, and we were like, what are we gonna do when we grow up now? And we like our life because we're not 9 to 5. We don't have a boss.
Yes.
To tell us what to do. We get to tell ourselves what to do. And that's what I want everyone
You get to wake up every day and ask God what He wants you to do.
Exactly.
So, all right, let me go to the next one. Question: do you think we are living in the days of Noah? Thank you, Cynthia. That's a good question.
It's interesting because God said He would never bring another flood, right, to this earth. He never. He repented. He turned. It was so. It hurt His soul, whatever, to wipe out the earth like that. So that's a really kind of a long, in-depth question. I want everybody to go watch Kirk Cameron's Monumental movie, which talked about the Pilgrims coming over here. And we talk about this a lot, and it's great if you're new, where if we're in the last days, then so be it. But live like you're going to have generation after generation after generation.
Because if you don't do that, then
you're
you're just irresponsible. Every generation has thought that they were living in the last days. Every single one of them. And that's why we are where we are today, because they didn't fix it.
Exactly. So if people like to turn their eyes, it's kind of like, if I'm going to replace the carpet and somebody spills something on there, I'm not going to do a lot to clean it up. And so what we have in this world today is a carpet that everybody keeps thinking that God's just going to replace the carpet. Right. And for 50 years, we have all these stains and craziness and yuckiness, and somebody's just got to clean it. Somebody's going to have to, it's kind of like God has given us the answers, and the answers is to preach the truth. And so there we go.
This is a great show for our atheists. This is real deal Leah and Michelle unfiltered. So this is what you get. This is who we really are. Leah, what's the story behind the 3,000 guitar? Apple Mark wants vids says.
Long story, but when I was in Tulsa, we lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma for 5 years. We went to Bible college, and there was a guitar there. I wanted a guitar, a new guitar. Went to this fancy guitar shop. It was really cool. This guy brought out this Montana Gold Gibson. I played it. It was the most beautiful sounding guitar in the world. We just gotten a small inheritance. My mom said, well, I could buy that for you. But then two girls needed help, and we let them move in, and we took care of them, and in doing so, that's where the money for the guitar went. Then Kansas later on heard about this, and he found one online same year. 10 years later,
brand new. It had never been. It wasn't brand
15,
new, but it was like, you know what I mean. What do they call that when it's new but it's never been used?
I want to
new
say
and not used.
Almost 10 to 12 years later.
I don't think anybody had ever even like strummed on it, like ever.
Yeah, and he found it, and he got a good deal. He gave a sob story to the guy, and he got this
about Leah.
Oh, amazingly good deal. So that's
Rolling Machine had commented on there. I almost fell off my chair when I saw it. What a beauty! All right, let's see. Any thoughts on the sharp difference between Moore and Franken? Franken is being referred to the ethics panel, but we have pick proof of what he did. Moore must drop out, and one accuser has already been proven false, which means many of them are lying, if not all. We could talk about this all day. We may do a special segment.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
I have to, because I couldn't sleep last night.
Thank you, John Petter.
I woke up like on the hour, literally saying Roy Moore is innocent. Like it's giving me nightmares. Because
she's very upset. It's all
I don't know why it's bothering me
it.
so much, but I really feel deep down in my spirit that this is a satanic hit job on Roy Moore.
I agree.
And Michelle, I've already laid out everything with Michelle. That's all she heard about this morning. We were walking dogs, but we're walking because I couldn't sleep, because I'm praying for this man that the truth will come out. Because Al Franken, we were talking about this with Bill Clinton and Al Franken and Weinstein.
They were already vile human beings to start with.
You have a pattern. So you have Roy Moore, and somebody gave us this
new
book.
Old Stock. Thank you. That's what the guitar is called. I knew it was something.
So Marlene sent us Roy Moore's book, and as I'm looking through it, so help me God, and it's just really Christian. You talk about the 10 Commandments, and this is, I realize that Christians fall.
Yes.
But it's usually they fall like in real time, like in current time.
Right now. Yeah, like I was caught in an affair with my pants down.
Right.
That's what you usually see with the modern Christians. You don't see a history because people aren't that good at hiding their corruption, their corrupt behavior.
It depends, but like you pointed out, with Al Franken, he has a history. You can go back and listen to his comic tapes. He's joked about rape. He's joked about perversion. He's a very perverted person. And so it makes sense that that's you with the picture proof.
Right.
Now, Jake Tapper had said we now have 9 accusers, which is completely untrue. And my newspaper, the Cincinnati Enquirer, which I get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just to see what the lefties are saying and doing. There was one article about Al Franken in there, but it wasn't about Al Franken. It was about an Ohio Supreme Court justice who defended Al Franken. And that was the article, but I've looked through the paper, and we haven't had anything on Al Franken.
Calling it out.
Nothing talking about Bill Clinton, nothing about Louis C.K., very little about anything about Weinstein, but article after article after article about Roy Moore.
Right.
And 2 political cartoons yesterday about Roy Moore.
And here's the thing. Who was it that you said came out and was like, what are we at? Like 9 accusers? And Lee and
Jake
I were...
Tapper.
Oh, yeah, because everybody loves him. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, hang on. We have 2 actual accusers,
right.
Okay? All of the other women are accusing him of dating them when they were of legal age.
The big one that gets me...
or asking them out or something.
The big one that gets me is if you include Roy Moore going up to a 22-year-old at a counter in a mall and asking for her phone number as an accuser, we have to throw this whole thing out.
Right.
This is a joke. This is a farce. Okay?
Would every woman that's ever been asked out when she was not interested in the person, please raise their hand? I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. You can't just accuse everybody. I mean, it's absolutely absurd.
So the 2 accused, we have the latest one, Nelson, who, if you look at the pictures of the handwriting, it's definitely Happy Merry Christmas, Love Roy.
But then the other one is in a different color.
It's a different color, different handwriting, and they won't hand over the yearbook. This is a fraud. Her stepson says it's a fraud. And then there's the other woman. These are the only ones who said that they were 14 and 16, and said that Roy Moore forced them to do a specific act. Now, the other women who are on the accused list, one was 17. When she says she was 17. We talked about this before. When she dated him, we don't know if she turned 18 during the 2 or 3 months.
He asked her mother's permission.
And she says he kissed her twice.
She's an accuser.
That is part of the accused. Now, we have Weinstein, rubbing up against people, doing all kinds of nasty things.
Right.
You can't put them in and that's what makes me angry. Mitch McConnell has called for him to step down. Al Franken is called for a Senate Ethics Committee, but basically that's just like a get-out-of-jail-free card because the Senate has no ethics, and no one has ever been punished under Senate Ethics Committee.
So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, have you heard of the 26,000 illegals that were released today under the Trump administration? OAN News reporter said that this is incredible.
No.
I did not hear about that. We will have to look into that. Okay. So personal, Leah, so are you in Kansas an item, or were you entertaining the idea once and decided to be just friends? Seems I remember you all mentioning a possible romance in your Virgin Diary days. I love Sharon asked, you've watched, if you all haven't watched the Virgin Diaries, what are you even doing here?
See, that's the thing. That's my answer. Go back to the Virgin Diaries number 2, 3.
Something like that.
No, not 2. It was, no, wait.
Well, there's been several. Watch them
all.
What
to do when you think you found the one was which one?
I don't know,
5?
like 4, yeah.
5 or 6. Watch the ones with Kansas.
It's got a Star Wars intro, I think. Just watch them all. You want to know Leah and Michelle?
And we're mulling at the same state.
Right now, yeah. A couple years later.
So watch them all.
So, all right, there's the answer for that.
Status has not changed. Either direction.
All right, so Rolling Machine had asked the same question about me being married because of the wedding ring. We answered that earlier. Thank you for that. And I love how Sharon pipes in and says, I know the answer to this one. See, I love that you people know it. That's so great. Who is the oldest, and do you have any other siblings, Mary? What? You can't even do that. That's false accusation. Strike that from the record.
Taller people are always older.
All right. Leah is older by 2 years and 8 months, and we do have an older brother. He's our half-brother from our dad's first marriage, and we love him to death, but we don't get to see him in life right now for just different reasons. But we love him. We grew up with him. We love him to death. So we don't have any other siblings outside of that.
Not that I know
of. Not so much a question as a shout out from an Aussie viewer. Love your work, ladies. Beaver, thank you very much. Please talk about Danica Rome and the implication it will have further down the line, says Francois Beauvoir. I don't know Danica Rome. I'm sorry, but listen, this is a question. We'll have to look, you know what? Leave it in the comment there, your details there. Hello from Oklahoma. Always good to see y'all. You're getting really great at this video stuff. My favorites are always the farm ones, but anyway, we're going to do this outside.
We were going to do this outside, but it got this huge cold front moved in, and I just couldn't do it.
All right. So here are my questions. 1, it's been a whole crazy year. You didn't before, but would you vote for him now? And 2, what does a Thanksgiving dinner look like on God's Little Acres table?
Go ahead.
So no. In all honesty, we knew that we wanted Trump over Clinton before we even voted.
It had to be Trump.
It had to be Trump. The reason why we didn't vote for him is because we felt like we had to vote our conscience. And I don't ever want to put my name behind a man that I'm not 100% sure of. And we wrote in Kansas, his real name is Matthew. We wrote his name in because that's what my conscience said.
We ran a whole Facebook campaign for this dude for months.
Kansas for president, farms for everyone.
This was our faith, and I believe that some people just like black and white, cut and dry.
Right.
But when the just live by faith, my faith was we have to take this country back. And so my conscience said everything in me wanted to just check off Trump.
Right.
Just check him off.
Right.
Well, first of all, I knew it was in Ohio. I knew it was in Claremont County. I knew Trump was going to win.
Yeah.
So my conscience was, I'm going to vote for Kansas Matt Stosko for president and let God take care of everything else. And you have to, and I never want to tell anybody what to do or how to vote.
Right.
Because that is so, God, you're going to be held accountable before God for what you do. So you need to do what God's called you to do. One thing we kept saying is that we support people who vote for Trump.
Yes.
I will support them 100%. I don't know if I would check the box off or not. That's a good question. I'm not in that position now.
Let me say this. We'll see what 2020 holds.
Yeah.
We'll see how these total of 4 years go, and then reconvene. So I do know going back, I would do the same exact thing, because I'm very confident in that. But I am glad that he won, and I'm glad that he's doing the things that he is doing. But here's the thing, and if you guys go back and watch my righteous rant against people that wanted to vote for Trump, you might get a feeling for where I'm at on this. Trump hasn't been tried in the fire for his conversion. He was a Democrat. He was a very worldly man, and he has turned to God, I believe, and he has turned. But the Bible's very clear about not putting novices in power, and he's a novice, and they can fall. They are subject to falling. And so I can't put my name behind it, but I am very glad we are
don't
supportive.
Ride the anti-Trump train. There are a lot of people like Ben Shapiro, who was a never Trumper.
Right.
It can't be Trump, you guys. Look at this guy. And then all of August and September and October and the WikiLeaks and this was before the primaries and things like that. And then it was like, it's got to be Trump. And it was in a very humorous way. And I tell you where he got me. He got me on the 2 debates.
And we just watched that earlier, because
so
when he came out, and he not only was he funny, but the one time when he called out Bill Clinton, as an abuser, how he's been accused of these rapes, and he said, we have the 4 women here in the audience. I just watched this clip this morning, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, he called it out when nobody else was, and the camera pans to Bill and pans to those women. It was absolutely amazing. So yeah, well done. Worth a look, aka Justin, says, Leah and Michelle, if you could visit 3 places in the world, where would you choose and why? Maybe seeing a famous landmark, maybe a culture, etc. Poland. Just because you Polish people are awesome. Definitely go to Poland. The UK in general, because we would want to come and see all of you. I'll leave the third one to you, because I think I can speak for both of us with those ones. Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Jerusalem. Yeah. To go and they have a lot of...
The Holy Land.
They have a lot of landmarks that our friend that's actually Jewish went and sent us clips and stuff from what he saw.
I don't want to go.
Jesus was where he was baptized. They actually have that place. I would love, love, love to go there. So, all right. So I think that answers that one. Now, Edward Wallace left this really great comment. The feedback I've gotten on my American men with our national security at risk, should women lose the right to vote, has had a profound effect on people. Example of the feedback I received. I think that our country has deteriorated since women got the vote. In fact, all civilizations that have given women agency have gone the same way in a progression from welfare state to sexual deviance and infanticide / abortion. I would willingly give up my right to vote and let my husband decide for us after discussion if it would save us from becoming Sweden. Women are the ones ushering in their own demise in Europe, giving flowers to their migrant rapists. Islam will fill the hole, and feminists will learn the true meaning of patriarchy, as opposed to Western countries where men practice chivalry. There will always be evil perverts, male and female, since we live in a fallen world. Were you surprised this is a female? I've received more angry male responses, but Christians understand where this world is headed, praise God. Now, that wasn't exactly a question. However, the way that I received it is, do you believe that women should have the right to vote?
I want you guys to, if you guys read any book, it's a very quick read, but it's perfect to get its kind of red pilled in American, the understanding of American politics. But it's called The 5,000 Year Leap.
Yes.
And I picked it up at a client's house when I was watching their dogs, and I just started flipping through it. And in it talks about the foundations of, I have it upstairs, of government. Now, before we have democracy here, there were other civilizations that had a representative form of government. And what you're getting at is you have a household with one vote, and then you have a village that comes together and votes, and then they go and it keeps going and going and going,
right,
like that. So it's not that women shouldn't vote,
right?
It's not. The idea is, if you were a family as a unit, your mind is our minds are broken.
Yep.
We don't understand what it means to be a family unit.
Everybody's
unit.
independent. When you marry your spouse, and that's what the thing is, Hillary's not her husband. Yes, she is. Okay? Yes, you are. When you're married to your spouse, you become one with that person. That one doesn't get 2 votes.
Why would you cancel out each other's vote? And so, I think about, a lot of women went out west and they own landowners.
Yeah, they should have a vote.
A lot of people own land, that only people who own land. It's tricky. It goes back and forth. And I can't exactly say women shouldn't have a vote or women should definitely vote or I think that we're missing the basic of civilization.
Yeah,
is a family unit,
right?
And then and then towns that have what you're supposed to do is bring forth your best man.
Yeah.
All right. And so then from that you bring forth your best man for represent. This is what we call representative government.
The husband. Or if the husband couldn't make it, the wife, someone in the family needs to go as the representative of that little unit.
Right.
Okay. So did the MSM in the USA write about the Polish rosary chain to save Poland? Europe has, I guess they were saying that they didn't. No, we did. But the MSM did not. Let's see. I'm a UK Land Rover man. I love us US trucks and pickups. Could you show me or us in the UK your trucks and peaches? Sydney is gorgeous. Hugs, kisses for Sydney from Kim. We don't have pictures of the peaches or the Dodge Ram. We'll have to take the camera out at some point to show you that. But yeah, we will do that.
A couple more than we're supposed to go live.
Michelle, can you drive? I was thinking we could probably go over a little bit, just a few. All right, they submitted the questions.
The television show.
You know what? At 1 p.m., if you have just arrived here for the UK show, we're going to get to that. We're doing the question and answers. It's running over. I'm sorry. It's our show. We're allowed to do that. Michelle, can you drive a stick shift? Yes, I can. I wanted to drive a stick my entire life.
Ford Festiva. It was like a tiny tin can on wheels, but it was a stick, and our mom taught us. That's how we learned how to drive.
Right. All right, so worth a look. What do you really think hit the Pentagon in 9/11? Many say it's a missile. I've never thought that it was a plane. Why was that side of the Pentagon hit? Was there something in that part that they were trying to hide? All CCTV cameras were taken away from the locals right after it happened also. All right, so what do I think hit the Pentagon? I think it was already a planted explosion. That's my personal opinion, but you can go to it's Richard Gage.
I think so.
I think it's Richard Gage that we met at the Red Pill Expo. He has some really excellent takes.
Yeah, really
on that. So I have to defer to greater minds than my own that have done.
He's an architect, and he got a bunch of architects together.
And that was about Building 7 and stuff like that.
But he goes into more because Building 7 is the easiest one to go after.
Right. Most cars in the UK are a stick. Have you got a greenhouse? I love those questions together. Glenn Brown says, yes, we have a greenhouse. Maybe when we do pictures of the peaches and the truck, we'll show you the greenhouse. All right. So now I have to go to the email here because those were just the questions that were on the video. And I'm hoping that I don't. Oh, we never answered what does a Thanksgiving at Godzilla Acre looks like. Do that
busy one. Because we're pet sitting, we're pet sitters. So when people go out of town on holidays, we're normally we go to people's houses and let their dogs out.
But hang on, tell them what we do.
We usually have, before we were pet sitting, it was a lot bigger and more extravagant. 5 or 6 pies. Pie's the main thing. Pie and turkey and mashed potatoes. And man, you're making me hungry.
My mom has to have corn. She gets so upset if we don't make the corn.
I need to go get the turkey. So we just slaughtered turkeys yesterday at our friend's house.
Who raised them out.
Dang,
she raised some beefy turkeys.
Very few underneath of 20 pounds.
Right.
These turkeys were giant. We're literally nothing like going and grabbing the live turkey.
On pasture, no hormones, giant turkeys.
So we grabbed the live turkey. We took him to the cones. If you let a turkey go, that wing will punch you in the face.
Whap, whap. It is literally like being punched in the face. And if you're holding it and their wings, they kind of have these like shoulders. I don't know how many times I got my teeth now, like, you know, because I'm like, ugh, turkey, and you're holding on as much as you can, and their talons.
We let one go and just
their talons are like that long,
yeah,
and their feet, their feet, I don't know, they're probably about that big, like this much of my hand, and they are strong, and they kick and they scratch, and oh my gosh,
cranberry sauce stuffing. We do this thing. Everybody does this in America where you do green beans and
green bean casserole. If y'all ain't making it, you ain't living. It's just
green beans
not.
with
The
cream and
French's
mushroom
fried
soup
onions on top.
with French's fried onions on top.
I usually saute some onions and celery and put it in there
I'm
and just
so
bake it.
hungry
And it's
now.
just Google green bean casserole, man. If you guys are in the UK and you are not making green bean casserole, you ain't living. I'm just saying. All right. So this is a good question. I hope you will have something to say about the UN climate change summit in Bonn. I would like to hear your take on that.
That's a really
And that's from
deep
Robert
question.
Thomas. I don't know about the whole summit. Can we just like lower it to the actual climate change issue and what Trump did? Like you know what I mean? Like seriously, it really is just
a hoax.
It's just to put money into something. They don't even do anything.
This is what we tell people. People on the left, you know, they raise their bells and their whistles and they talk about carbon footprints and stuff like that. There's a difference between climate change and harming the environment. And when we were kids, they kind of talked about global warming.
Right.
But then they saw that, you know, in certain areas the temperature's raising. So then they had to call it climate change. And there was when we were kids, it was reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah, that was ingrained in our
But
heads.
that didn't work. Because people kind of recycle, but then they just buy more stuff.
Yep.
And we are harming the environment with industrial farming and everything that we do and everything that we buy. So I want people to first, what if we could just buy locally and buy Maya's products?
Yeah.
You know,
her link is going to forever be in the description underneath the contact us.
And you know what? Not just Maya, but if you make something, if you home make something that a product that somebody would normally buy at the store,
yes,
let us know. We want to promote it.
We do.
So when it comes to climate change, I'm not a climate scientist, but I know for just by living that climate changes. There was super cold snaps in like the 1800s. Where people, like, I remember one coast on the East Coast, they didn't have like a day without snow or something, a day above freezing temperatures for the whole summer. And so we have heat and we have warm and we have El Niñas. And if you're a creationist, one of the theories in creationism is
that there was a massive ice age after the flood.
There was a massive ice age caused by the flood, which would make a tremendous amount of sense.
It makes total sense. All of the scientific data actually supports that theory, but they don't agree with it. They think that we did have an ice age. It's a matter of when.
So if our planet is actually warming,
right,
it could be just that it's a constant warming from that ice age, which froze everything. Because, and here's the thing that evolutionists cannot explain or don't want to explain. There are tropical plants
on top of mountains
in Antarctica and
frozen.
In the Arctic.
Yeah.
Tropical plants.
There are sea creatures up there.
There are giant, monstrous plants that would make sense pre-flood when things grew larger and bigger.
Right.
There's a lot of things that actually science.
Well, the sun is measurably getting warmer. So unfortunately for like the future, unless they fix it, one day the earth will be burnt to a crisp. I mean, it just will be. The sun is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So if you take that same amount that is completely consistently measurable and you go back
billions of years,
it would have been too cold for any life to spontaneously. So they don't have a fix for that. Right. And so there's a lot of loopholes. But my point is the sun is getting hotter, and that's measurable. So why that's not taken into place, into consideration with global warming, I don't know. I don't get it. So we could talk about that all day.
Okay.
Hi, Leah Michelle. Do you think that... this is about Go and Batty. Go and Batty has a channel. Do you think Heather and her daughter could do a fun segment about interesting books to read on your channel? They mentioned Anne of Green Gables, Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, and others. When I was in 4th grade, I enjoyed the original Amelia Bedelia books. So what does your mom think of Amelia Bedelia books? What do you think of Charlotte's Web? Years ago, I enjoyed with my children Liberty Kids, cartoonish videos in American history. When I checked YouTube, the ads were extremely horrible, probably anti-American. Please share with me if you ever watched Liberty Kids.
I don't think we have. We have definitely been part of the Anne of Green Gables craze. We read Amelia Bedelia. I thought she was hilarious. No pun intended.
But seriously, what are some of the ones, like, just think of one that she would do, what Amelia Bedelia, like, they were these kids' books. Say Perfect would totally get this stuff. He's a very punny man. It was just, everything that she did was a pun.
Yeah.
And, you know, oh, geez, I can't think of any of them right now. You guys in the chat who know what I'm talking about are going to probably leave them there. Let me see. I know there was, okay, so Marlene had some more questions. Let's see. When you're feeling goofy, if you like the Gilligan's Island theme song, would you please sing this song?
You know what we should do? We should do one like with different words. That'd be so funny.
We will do that. Yes, absolutely. Matt, would you please tell me the name you chose for your well-made yellow donkey cart? And Matt, how old are you? Matt is 39. And I don't know that he came up with a name for the donkey cart yet. I know there were some ideas submitted. For the longest time, way back in Resistance Chicks, Matt was working on a donkey cart. And the grinding out in the garage was very...
yeah.
All right. Will your mom wear a disguise to go on screen? Just asking. Probably not. Maybe, you never know. We can ask her to. We'll see. Let's see. Do you know the amazing song known as "The Touch of the Master's Hand"?
I've heard of it.
I do not.
Okay.
Michelle, what is your favorite Christmas song? Leah, what's your favorite Christmas song?
What child is this?
Ooh, see, that's a good one. Mary, did you know? What are your most special memories of Thanksgiving Day and Christmas? I think I can answer this for both of us. We were in in Tulsa for Christmas. It was the first Christmas that we had not been here back home for Christmas, and we had no money, literally no money, and we all made each other presents for Christmas. And that night we read Christmas stories, and our parking lot in our apartment complex froze over, which had never really happened before. So we went out in our gym shoes and ice skated, the three of us, our mom, Leah, and I, and we just,
and you have
really,
to know
really special.
that during that time, why that was special, because that was the first Christmas that we weren't with our family.
And our family,
yeah. We had, Christmas for us was always a torment. Like, I hated Christmas time. We would have here, Christmas Eve with my grandma, and then my dad would pick us up, usually drunk, unfortunately. And we go back to his house, and dress
a turkey in real clothes. Get it? Like dressing.
That's so funny.
Amelia Bedelia. Yeah, we need to dress the turkey, and then she'd put clothes on the turkey. That's
Yeah.
Amelia Bedelia. Thank you for that.
So Christmas for us was usually surrounded by drunk people, and there was always a fight between my dad and uncles.
Literally, there were fist fights.
Just and they would get drunk on the Swedish Julekog, and everybody was sappy and driving home drunk, and it was, you know, I have actually worse, like, I have really bad Christmas memories, bigger than like good Christmas memories, and I think that holidays for a lot of people can be very traumatic. So I want to encourage you,
yes,
that you don't have to be in any situation.
Don't go.
That makes you uncomfortable.
I gotta tell you guys,
you do not need to be around your family just because they're blood, is what I'm telling you.
And I know we're gonna have commenters that disagree with us. I don't care about them. Like, seriously, if you're gonna disagree with me on this, I don't care. This is real deal. I know this beyond a shadow of a doubt. If you have family members that make you feel uncomfortable and you feel forced, or you feel like you have to go because it's the thing we do, we support our family, we get together, you just get over it, it's the one time a year, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Don't go. If you have an icky feeling in your stomach, if you always hate doing it and you don't like these people, just don't go.
And don't make your kids go.
And don't make your kids go. If your kids feel that way about people in your family,
so
don't make them go.
The reason that Christmas was the best Christmas is we had love and peace, because you can have all the stuff in the world. Our Christmases, our grandfather had built the largest house in Claremont County. So there's ping pong table, there's foosball, there's a pool table, there's wings. I mean, this is the biggest house that probably anyone
in our entire county
would ever go in.
Right.
I don't want to be there.
Right.
I want to be at home with my mom, living in a cardboard box. Right. I don't want to be in tears because
our dad always got us for Christmas. He would come and pick us up here in this house. It was my grandma's house, Christmas Eve. And we would go to his house, stay the night, and wake up, spend Christmas morning and all day Christmas with my dad. And my mom was always alone. That's how selfish of a person my dad is. Sorry.
Unfortunately.
And it was abusive.
So just to give you an idea, as a kid, like, I remember one Christmas, we got our dad something. It still bothers me. He opens it up. Christmas morning. He says, "Girls, what is this? What is this that you got me? You know you can do better." I expect you to do better next year and get me a better present.
Yeah.
Remember, my mom, single mom, very little money. Kids have no money.
So what he's saying is your mother needs to give you more money to buy me a present.
And you have to think better. You have to think more.
So ever since then, we always got our dad the best of the best presents. And the next year, I don't know, it was like some nice sweater,
really
an eagle blanket
sweater.
or something. I don't remember.
One year it was a super. He liked eagles, so one year it was like a really expensive like blanket with an eagle on it, and one year it was a really fancy sweater. And he had gotten an argument at the house with us about something, but then he put on the sweater and he said, "Now, girls, this is the kind of present that you give somebody for Christmas. That you get me for Christmas."
Right. And here's the thing, and while we're talking about our past, I want to make something really clear. Our mom never talked bad about our dad. Right. Our entire lives growing up. It wasn't until we were adults that she told us of the abuse that had happened to her when she was married, and then we started putting two and two together, and we're like, yeah, all of these things happened to us too. And so I know that it's probably hard for people to hear, our stories, but we had God throughout, okay? And we pray for our dad every day that he gets saved. He has had plenty of opportunity. He was married to one of the most righteous women on the face of the planet at one point, and he still turned his back on God. He had one of the most righteous daughters. I can say that.
I want to encourage anybody, because we aren't the only ones. There are people who've been abused.
Yes.
And I want you to know that you don't have to be around those family members, that God can heal you.
Right.
That he loves you, that God never wanted you to be hurt.
Right.
And he can make it like it never happened.
Right.
He can totally heal your mind. And it's okay to remove yourself from situations that are painful and that hurt.
Exactly. All right. So now we can move on from that question, because it is a good question.
Couple more. We should
all right. I know. All right. Michelle, do your viewers do your homework assignments? I did watch Pilgrim's Progress on YouTube because of you. I don't know. Do y'all do the homework assignments that I give you? Because if you didn't, you need to go watch Pilgrim's Progress on YouTube.
Just listen to it while you're doing something.
There's a really good version. I will again drop it back in the link, and you need to listen to it. It's like an 8-hour long thing. When Resistance Chicks t-shirts? No idea. When that happens, I'll let you know.
Cool.
We would sell them to you at cost. For sure.
That'd be fun.
Was your mom a Girl Scout? No. Our grandma was. Leah tried to be. I wasn't.
Boring.
Valerie Jarrett, are we watching out for her crimes? Yes. Let's see. Can I get and give people I know Resistance Chicks / Mass Faith 3 business cards without a phone number? I have Mass Faith 3 Resistance Chicks business cards. I keep one in my cell phone all the time, and I hand them out frequently. Perhaps one day we'll be able to give them to you guys. If you guys ever get a thank you card for me, I always... Oh, look, I gave one away. All I have is a 20. I don't even have my card in here. I always try to include one in there. I guess I could... include a couple more.
Thank you for telling your doctor about us. Just you can tell. Yeah, please do. Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Tell everyone you know.
Tell everyone you know about Resistance Chicks. All right, so I think that I got all the questions. If I missed any, I'm really sorry. Go ahead and submit them. Send them to me in an email, and we'll just include them at an end of one segment.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Yes, thank you guys for being here. Okay, do we have any last-minute questions in the chat? Because this chat has been going really hot. If you guys are here for the UK segment, we're going to get to that in a minute. We'll sign off here. And then
we have a lot of stuff going on in the European news right now. So
right. So Will Way says, Michelle, I bought and read Pilgrim's Progress after you.
Yay, Will.
Yes, very good. I know there were other questions in here. I'm really, really sorry. They were going so fast. But still, like I always say at the end of every segment, leave your comments in the comment section, and I will answer them on air.
I want to hear your answers to all of these questions in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to hear what your favorite Christmas dish is and all that stuff.
Yes.
If you think that Elvis died in 1977.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Proof you guys
Enough
have.
about me. What about you?
That's what you should always. Very magnanimous of you.
I'm done talking about myself.
Yeah, that was. I think we got a lot in. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. And ladies, could you act like Julia Child when you make your turkey?
Hello! Yes, I think we can definitely do that one.
You know what I think? Maybe perhaps we should come...
Flop the wings,
we
hit the butter, slap it on there.
Lots of butter, just like the
More butter!
More butter! We love the butter!
This is good for the arteries.
Yes, it is.
Where's the butter?
On Thanksgiving Day, we should go live a couple times while we're cooking. That would be really fun. Maybe short little blips. Let you guys in on our Thanksgiving Day. Sydney's looking like, what is going on, man?
She's so cute.
All right, so we have 109 people here. Thank you for being here and listening to Lee and Michelle question and answer. Let's see. I want to know if you guys watch Dutchine and keep up on the earthquakes. We do keep up on the earthquakes.
A little bit. My mom watches like the solar sun, what's going on with the
Mark
solar
Mucci,
flares.
he's a viewer of ours. I don't think he's here today, but he always stays on top of that stuff. So Apple Mark, we answered your question earlier. He said he's having internet issues. So here's what we're going to do. Otto says he'd become Islam and marry Paula Deen and Julia Child. Meaning you don't have to become Islamic to marry two people. You can be Mormon.
He just wants the food.
You just want, I know.
He wants good food.
And Paula Deen, like, I don't know, it's kind of come out and...
You know what? I think it would be better for you to marry Julia's Child because she had old school. It was good for you. Paula Deen, not so much.
Yeah, not so much. So, Horatio says, I have a question. He sent this to me personally, stinker. Do you like chicken and chips? Because the chicken and chips that I'm having are delicious. And he included 3 pictures of his chicken and chips. That's not very kind. You know what? Yeah.
That looks really good. Why do you make stuff and I can't eat them?
I don't know. But he did use my honey today that I had sent him for his birthday. And he said, you know that I don't sugarcoat things. And I always generally say what I mean and mean what I say. It's not hyperbole or whatever. He said, this is the greatest honey I have ever had in my entire life. He said, I can't stop eating it. So there you go. Resistance Chicks bees make good honey. So thank you guys for being here with us today. This has been really, really fun. Maybe we'll try to do another one of these in like 6 months. Should we be doing Resistance Chicks till then? Hopefully.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Now, you can send us your letters and we will read them.
We will. Oh,
speaking of
that's
letters.
Right. I was supposed to do this.
Duh. We're not done yet.
We're
Don't
not
leave.
done.
Don't leave.
Stop it. They're going to stay for the other. This is the Svensson family. You want to open that one?
Brian.
Sooks, is he here today? Sooks,
yes,
are you here?
I saw him.
All right.
Yeah. Also,
it's great when your friends
we have a
bring you friends.
box, by the way, 107, Milford, Ohio,
45150.
Forgive the chicken scratch. I only had so much room to work with. I don't miss the chill or the leaves myself, but
because it's cold.
I was saying that. It immediately thought of you guys. So he's in Florida. That is so adorable, Brian. Look at that.
Oh,
card.
he's here. He's here. Our dear friend Ashley is very dear friends with Brian, and so Brian has become a friend of ours.
The chill
through that.
of the air.
He's a moderator.
The crunch of the leaves.
So be careful.
And the chance to give thanks for the people we care about most, especially you. I love this card.
It's really so pretty with the dog.
Dear Leah Michelle, Patriot Gallery, this is the first year in my life that I've felt truly grateful for those that have entered my life. It took a tragic event that affected a member of my family to meet Ashley, and recently she introduced me to you. About 25 years ago, I lost my faith. However, a series of events have led me to see God's influence and connection to those that share in his love. I still have some deprogramming to go through, but your videos help me to stay on the correct path. Thank you for accepting me into the Resistance Chicks family. God bless, Brian.
God bless you, Brian. That is fantastic.
That's the kind of news we love to hear, Brian.
Yes, it is.
I am sorry about that tragic event that happened to you, and we pray that God continues to show you truth in all things.
Amen. So Kelly has from California. Now Torrance, isn't that where we went through with the
We are the Venus snitches of Torrance.
You can be a Venus. When we lived in California briefly for 3-4 months in 1999.
Yeah.
And we drove through Torrance, and they always had these Wiener Schnitzel things, and I just made up a song, and so that's been with us ever since. Best wishes for you, a good Thanksgiving. I love this card already. It's so adorable. Sing a song of gratitude, dance a little too, feel the autumn's magic in everything you do, wrap yourself in laughter, give some love away, pass around the goodness, have a happy Thanksgiving day, plus a happy belated birthday, Michelle, to you. I hope it was a fantastic day. Kelly, aka Kelly Fish. We love Kelly. Kelly has been with us, and she sent you a birthday card almost from the very beginning. So thank you for sticking with us, Kelly. Now, somebody had, and I need to go back and look in the email. I'm hoping that the note will be in there. Because somebody had asked if we had gotten this package in... Oh, there's questions here, too.
Yeah, it's not questions.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Oh, those are why I like the Resistance Chicks. Read that out loud.
They know Millie Weaver, aka Rainbow Snatch. You all like Nigel Farage. You follow Alex Jones. You do not buy global warming. You all do not have a foreign policy that is dangerous. You are well-read young ladies. You have Godzilla Acre. You are Christians. You all back Trump.
I love that. Let's see.
Wow, my first time seeing you guys when I was watching all the stuff about Charlottesville. I'm so glad you all were YouTubers. I finally found something I can watch on current events besides Alex Jones.
Now, he did say,
Cool.
I have been working on a book on political economy featuring a child prodigy in economic science and gremflifications, adorable cherubs. I would like to share a chapter 2 from my book. Do you know that much about the New Silk Road? A little bit, thanks to Barry. And LaRoche's Four Laws. No, but holy cow, what? Oh, see, no, I'm about to get to eat on air again. What? This is, look at this. Hang on, look at this.
Are these
Yes,
turtles?
they're nuts. They're like delicious. Oh my
What
gosh,
is
it smells
this?
so good.
Mom, Picture Gallery's favorite.
Hang on, because somebody had, I need to get who this is here. Let me open that up. Let me have, I want one. That was from Curtis, by the way. What I just read. Thank you for all the work that you do.
Who's this from?
I don't know. Hang on, I'm getting
You
to
don't
that.
know?
They had said, did you get this in the mail? Robert, please check your P.O. box for this shipment. Hugs from Louisiana. Thank you, Robert. Holy cow. Let me have just the one. It's a turtle. Oh my gosh. From Sunnyland Farms. You are all, oh man. Oh.
Wow.
I haven't eaten yet today because we were in a hurry. But,
Oh, man.
and Leah's actually letting me eat this on air. It must be a special day.
No, because I haven't eaten yet either. I'm hungry, but I can't eat.
You want a bite?
No, not right now.
on, yeah.
I can't do it.
Just,
But it looks good.
These nuts, these are pecans. They look like they have a little coating on them. I don't know.
This one, too.
Oh, they smell so good.
How do you say
dang.
thank you in a million ways?
I don't know, but there's got to be like hundreds of these. Oh.
It must be a pecan place.
Okay, so while I finish this deliciousness, and thank you for the cards, and thank you for the questions, and thank you for being a part of the Resistance Chicks family. And this is the time that I can say, we love you guys. We love you so much. You all are like little bits of chocolate to us, right?
Yeah.
And so this is just a representative of you and how we feel about you.
Now let us know if this particular company is
Something we should be pushing.
something
we should be pushing.
you
'cause it's
are
good, dude.
connected with, or if this is just something that you enjoy.
Right.
So-
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna come back in 5 minutes. Let me just get a new picture,
She's
new
gonna
description.
eat a whole bag.
I will eat the whole bag in 5 minutes.
We're just a couple minutes.
Intermission.
New picture, new description, and we will be back. So
Right.
thank you guys.
Thank you. We love you so much. We love you.
It's fun.
Yeah, it was.